This conference will now be recorded.
Wait, one sec. Okay. Yeah. So, this is the table that I added. Or no, sorry, this one. I just added store
Okay.
hours. So,
Okay.
I want to show that.
Yeah, just show me the output. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, store
What
hours.
was that?
And then I also looked up lists just for fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And this description. I just wanted to
Okay.
check.
So any questions do you have? You
Uh,
understood table?
yeah. I just don't know how to add like a second database. Do I just copy uh this part and then put it below?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that is fine. I mean, okay. So what you have to remember, I mean, the copy paste is not a something crime. Okay. But
Mm,
whenever you can do, I mean, you can do like copy CSS code properties or HTML. There is no kind of copy uh, uh, right issue as well. Even though if you copied from any of the live resource website or application, so you can take the colors, you can take that CSS properties. Okay,
okay.
everything you can take in the live website as well. So that is how usually everybody does same. It's not something for Darshana or something for Saya or something for XYZ. Everybody the same thing only,
Yeah.
because so that is the reference, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
is the reference. But what we have to maintain that. So we should know the properties. Instead of blindly, if you copy the properties on dollar, you should know how the properties really working or behaving. See, as long
Mm.
as you are aware of them, then you can, yeah, copy anything. There is no issue
Well,
on it.
I didn't copy paste. I like looked at it and then did it myself to understand it.
Uh, yeah, that is fine. Yeah, that is fine. That I'm telling, no. So yeah, as long
Yeah.
as you are aware of them, yeah, that is absolutely fine.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll do one thing now. So now what we can do, um, I'll explain like no CSS basics to you. So
Okay.
we'll go both together like HTML and CSS both. Okay. Because if I
Okay.
start explain only HTML, and later point of time all of a sudden if I start CSS and all, no, so then you will only focus on CSS properties. Definitely you'll forget that HTML. I mean the tags and all. So
Mm.
in real time also we have to work both together simultaneously, like parallelly. We cannot write something like HTML, entire HTML for this week and next week of CSS. The work is not like that. Okay.
Okay.
In
Mm.
real time also we have to make sure to write that HTML CSS properties together. Okay, so now we'll start like one by one. So before that, I'll give you one chance to you. Okay, so by
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow what you can do, you can pick any website. Okay,
Mm.
it's up to you. Okay, end
Okay.
of the day, when we complete our session, okay, whatever
Mm-hmm.
the website that you want to pick, you can pick. So end of the day, we will try to clone the website using this HTML, CSS. Okay,
Oh,
whatever the
okay.
layout that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can
Mm.
pick anything, and majority of the things, now I'll make you to write the code. Okay,
Mm.
so once we are done with the properties and all, right, probably we can plan like maybe after a week of time or after 10 days of time.
Mm.
So then we'll give you like 2 to 3 days of time. So every day, I won't teach anything those 2 to 3 days. So your work is you only have to share your screen, and you only have to work on everything. So that will plan it. Okay. so
Okay.
that you will get some confidence. So whatever the website it is, wherever you find in the internet, so you won't feel that, okay, how to build this kind of website. Okay, you won't need to worry about that. There is something like, blank that, so once you get a confidence, whatever the website that you see in the internet, so you feel, okay, this is the property that they might use, or this is the div, or this is kind of, CSS syntax that they have used. Okay, this
Mm.
kind of attention you should build. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, fine. So now let us start it. So by tomorrow you just have to inform me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so fine, we have, and I'm not going to I'm going to clear everything. This plain thing. Okay, so first of all, if I write something here, okay, let us say if I build some element like, a div,
Mm.
okay, this is the division. Okay, let me make it as this is div,
Mm.
and after that, after div close, I'm just making that, this is text.
Mm.
Okay, now if I see the output for this, okay, this is div and this is text, okay. But
Mm.
when I do that inspect element, what you have to understand, whenever I select div, right, it is asking me to, show that, element dot style,
Mm.
okay. And if I select this, there is no element dot style.
Mm.
Why? Because
Because division block.
okay, no. See, okay. In if you're in that assumption, if I make that some span, which is an inline element, that as per our previous conversation, right?
Uh-huh.
Now let's make it this. Of course, it is a span element, but if I select span here, now it is showing element dot style. But if I select this is the text, there is no element dot style. Okay,
Mm.
what you have to understand here, whatever the content that we are keeping here, especially text, okay, it should
Mm.
contain some element, whether it is a span, whether it is a div, whether it is a h1, whatever the element, the text should contain that. Now, if you see, span is an element, that is the reason it is showing that, you can add styles here. Whereas this is the text, there is no element started and ended here. No. So the browser also don't understand that, to to what object, so it can assign or it can apply the styles. Browser also doesn't know it, right?
Yeah.
So that is the point. So whenever you practice and all, right? So this is very important. Whenever you see that element, for each and every element only, it will show that, element dot style. But now there is an element here, so
Mm.
it is not showing.
Got it.
Got you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So now whatever the element it is, whenever you select that span, so it will, when you click here, just one click. Okay, so
Mm.
it will ask you to write CSS properties. Now it is a text, right? So we have some properties in CSS where no, we can change the style of text. Let us say first one, text. Okay, let do one by one. Okay,
Mm.
whenever we see text, right, so the first thing that, we will there are some a few basic parameters that we can apply to text. So the first one is font, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to apply a font to text in CSS, I'm telling, okay,
Mm.
there is a property called font family.
Yeah.
Okay, So maybe you'll if you notice that X3 or Figma, you will get these font families and all,
Yeah.
right? So you
Mm.
what you can do in this font family, you can add any of the font like this. Have you observed that the font is changed here?
Yeah. Do you have to download the font or any font
No,
works?
I'll come to that point. I'll come to that point. Yeah. So now when you just if you don't want to see that, just just uncheck this.
Mm.
Okay. And when you see the font family, sometimes if you see Arial, comma, like this, or maybe sometimes you can see one more comma after comma, you may see sometimes one more font name also.
Mm.
So what it means whenever we are giving that font family with like two or three font names. So in your system, it's not something like mandatory to have all these forms. Either one of the form also you will have it in your system, so that the browser should understand that okay there is the so okay. Let us say example, in this mission Arial I have, but Tahoma I don't have, but Arial I'm having that Arial font in my mission, and Arial going to apply this. But there is no Arial font in my mission, but Tahoma is there. So the text will take and apply the Tahoma.
Mm.
So it is like group of fonts we can add, but right now it was actually earlier implementation. Right now we are not actually dealing with kind of we'll adding a straight away font names. Okay,
Mm.
and let us say I have some font like you hope you know that an Open Sans font.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I make that straight away, Open Sans like this, Open Sans like this. So do you think it is applying that?
No.
No, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but we have a Open Sans. But the
Yeah.
point is, in this mission, Open Sans is not there. So that is
In
the
this
reason it is not showing.
in
I'm
this
my
what?
mission, I'm saying that.
Oh, okay.
In my mission, Open Sans font is not there. It is
Yeah.
not exist in my mission. But if
Mm-hmm.
you have it, if you apply that font family as Open Sans, it will definitely work.
Mm.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let us say I have to apply Open Sans font to enter my application, and I do not have that Open Sans font in my mission. What should I do?
Download it to the folder.
Yes, yes. So you have to download the font. That what is the extension of that the font file .ttf.
Oh,
Okay. So
okay.
that file you should copy it, and where you should place that.
In the folder for the same, like the same
Yeah, so
place.
you'll get a folder called fonts. Maybe, let me try in this command. Yeah, it has. So in C drive Windows, you'll get a fonts folder here. And whenever you get the TTF file, these are all TTF files only. If you see that, properties of any of the file, it shows like a .ttf,
Mm.
two type font file. Okay. So you just need to copy the TTF file of Open Sans and you should place here.
Mm.
It automatically works.
Okay.
Okay, you're getting
Mm-hmm.
that point?
Yeah.
And let us say there is a one more example. Okay, now Open Sans font I just now downloaded and I placed it in my fonts folder and I have done my application. Okay,
Mm.
but if I share the files to you, okay, through
Mm-hmm.
internet or maybe through any of the other medium, if I share
The
the
font.
files to you, and when you open that, okay,
Mm-hmm.
the font will be appear in a different way as you do not have an open sans font in your mission.
Yeah.
Like then how we need to resolve such a case in real time. So we never know like an end user is I mean going to have that fonts in their mission or not. We don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what is
Mm,
the solution for it?
is there a way to? Because in Figma it's the same problem.
Okay. For web, there is no. Earlier it was a problem, but now what we can do is whatever the TTF file that we have, as I told you previously, right? We have the TTF files. These
Mm-hmm.
TTF files we can upload to our server as well.
Mm,
Okay, these TTF files we can upload to our hosting server in the sense where we can keep all of these files, all these HTML files, this JS folder, images folder, CSS folder, everything together in one place server. So in that place itself, we have to place our fonts, whatever the fonts, any number of fonts we can use. So to achieve that, the basic step that we have to do is we have to maintain one folder in our same working directory. Make one folder called fonts
mm,
and paste here whatever the fonts that you want to use in your application, not in your system, in your application.
mm,
And whenever you upload all these files, include this fonts folder as well, so that we no need to worry that whether end user having that font in their mission or not, because the font will take the actual TTF from this fonts folder only when it
mm.
is running in the application in the internet.
Okay.
Okay, you're getting that?
Yeah.
Okay, so don't worry, everything we will verify from development perspective. Okay, don't worry
Mm,
that. And that is a one approach. Even that approach we used to do, like maybe 5 6 years back, I don't remember. But later
mm.
point of time, we have, Google it introduced that Google Fonts. I hope you
Yeah.
are aware of it.
Yeah. I've used.
So whenever if you open that Google Fonts, right, Google Fonts. So there are a lot of fonts here. We can decide whatever the font that we want to use for our website. We can select any of the fonts, and whenever we select any fonts, it will give some options to it, like what is the font size. And there is, looks like there are a lot of modifications happen here. I don't know. Okay, styles. Yeah, so whenever you select that a font, it shows like that the default size. And see, if you see that thin 100,
Mm-hmm.
the same time thin 100, italic style, light, and regular, medium, bold, bold and italic, black, lot of things. We can
Mm-hmm.
select whatever the options that we want. Okay, and whenever we do all these things, it will generate one link to us. So blindly, we need to copy that link and we need to paste into our HTML page. Our HTML page. That is the another method. Okay.
Oh,
So if you don't want to do in this way, the first approach that which I told you, download that font and first make copy that font and paste into your working directory fonts folder and upload it. So you have a download option as well here.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the theory part of this, this font related thing. But yeah, we'll come to one by one.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm making that font family as a Arial. See, if I applying that in a font family Arial, but only this text is applying. If you see, which I'm just zooming
Yeah.
this, see, you can clearly observe that the difference between these two, right?
Mm-hmm.
And font family is Arial and font size 30 pixels. I hope you are aware of this PX and all, right? So I no
Yeah.
need to explain. Yeah. So next,
I.
what is the important thing, that is the color. Yeah,
What
you're
is
saying
wrong?
something?
What is rem? Font size rem.
Yeah, we'll come to that point. REM we have EM, we have percentage.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll cover all of them.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
Mm.
So when we have like these are all very basic things that I know I'm telling. So when
Mhm.
we are get into that subject, we'll focus like one by one, one by one, one by
Okay.
one. Okay,
And
yeah,
another question I have a few Adobe fonts. Would that work?
of course. I mean those are in your mission.
Yeah. Or no, it's an
Yeah, I mean
Adobe
yeah, you can
Cloud.
apply.
I think it's an Adobe Cloud.
Okay, it is in Adobe Cloud, but how it is really working? I mean, you make sure to check that those fonts really there in your mission or not. Like this way, like you should open
Yeah.
that fonts folder and check that.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Yeah.
like that.
So to web application in your local mission, okay. So in your local, whatever the application or website that you are checking, if you want to apply the font should be here. That is the
Okay.
one approach. The
Mm.
second approach is the same way. You have to take that font, download somewhere, and make it in a fonts folder. And you need to write, the required CSS to apply that font. This
Yeah.
the either one of the steps that you have to follow
Mm.
to make it happen. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And we have a color property here.
Mhm.
So yeah, there are a lot of colors that we have, and that hexa also we can give, right? So that hexa
Yeah.
that and so this is the same way like how that color the small thing is format is we should call like color wallet or something, don't remember,
Mm.
but yeah, it will give this the palette, and so whatever the color that you want. Okay,
Mm.
yeah, you can change this. And when we anyhow like we are in colors, so the above one is like whatever the color that you want to pick you can pick, and the below one is like it is like a depth of the color.
Mm.
Okay, so now we know that hexa code is for only 6 digits, but so I think 4 years back or 5 years back, it has introduced that two more characters to this hexa. If you observe hexa now, so till this we have a color, and this is like the last
So,
2 digits. I'm telling that
yeah.
this is like opacity.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
and what is going to happen if you apply everything here, and simply if you reload this page, everything will be, you're gonna lose everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just an visualize no to visualize how the text or how the how no elements are behaving if I add this all these properties. So if you like this, what you can do, so you just need to just select all of them and copy, and you should place in your CSS file or folder.
Mm.
We'll come to that point. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how we used to write the CSS properties there. And the main point that which I want to tell you, whenever you select the element, so it will show the element. But if you observe, if you observe this, how it is going to look like. Just let me edit this as a HTML, and let me copy this and paste it here. See, is this way like we used to apply the styles, right? Element and style is the attribute, and straight away we are writing the properties,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any question?
Oh no.
Okay, fine. So now I'm going to close this, reload this page. So okay, one more thing that I know I want to. Okay, Now this is span. Yeah. So now this is span element, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is normal text. Now the thing is, I don't for a span. Do you think we can apply a color?
No,
For a span we can apply a color or no?
I don't know what a span is.
I mean this span I'm talking. There is
Oh
element,
yeah,
right? Span.
you can add color because it's an
We
element.
can apply it.
Yeah.
Yes. So how about this?
No,
Do you think
because
we
it's
can
not
apply style?
no, because it's not an element.
Okay. But the one thing that you should understand, both are in body element.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh.
body is the parent element of these two. You cannot apply that color to this is text, but when I select the body, so it is an element end of the day. And
Mm-hmm.
if I apply some, see,
Oh, okay.
okay,
Yeah, I think I did that before.
because you did that, okay, good. So, so the point is, so so even though this is we do not have any element, so we must check that what is the parent element,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
See, if you observe very clearly, even though for this span also we are making the same thing. When there is no span, this is the
Uh-huh.
div, right? This is also
Yeah.
like a kind of text,
Uh-huh.
and we are applying to the element. At the same time, now this is the text. We have a body element,
Mm,
but when you want to make it, this is the text as a separate color. Then it is we cannot make it.
okay.
For a
Uh,
span,
yeah.
hmm, tell
Uh,
me.
so if you change the color of just the span line, would the text
Mm-hmm,
still be red? Like, let's say if we make this is div another color,
mm-hmm.
it would only affect that one, right?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
you got it.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Now, so let us start that CSS basics now. Okay, so how we
Mm-hmm.
can write the CSS, how we can apply the CSS and all. Okay,
Mm,
first of all, what it stands for CSS? Cascading Style Sheet. Okay,
um, yeah.
what it stands for? Cascading Style Sheet. What is the extension of this file of CSS file extension? If you talk about that HTML file, so how we are talking this is as a HTML file because the file extension is not HTML, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, there is no, I mean, it doesn't make any sense, if you call this as a the HTML file.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot call HTML file as a doc for document, right? So it has like extension of .html, so that we are calling it as a .html file. So in the same way, if a file extension has .css, then we used to call it as a CSS file.
Mm,
So what stands for CSS? Cascading Style Sheet. So how we are, creating the HTML files at I mean, outside of this folder, this UI session. So we created a CSS folder. Okay. In the CSS folder, right click, new file, style dot CSS.
mm,
Okay.
okay.
And the naming convention, the same rule will applicable for style as well. Make sure to give in all the lower cases. It should
Mm,
be either when you want to give it two words, it should be either hyphen or underscore, not like a space.
okay.
Okay.
Mm,
And this is the style.css I have created. Now I have written some styles to it. Okay, right now it is empty, but I have written something. Just assume that I have written something, and now I don't want, I mean, I want to apply all these styles to this HTML document.
Mm.
Okay, so I hope you understand. So now we have, let's say, two entities. We have two entities. One is, oh no, sorry. One is HTML and one is CSS.
Mm.
In real time, let's assume that this is a home page. Okay, this
Mm-hmm.
is, so this is home page. This is CSS. Right.
Mm.
Now, in real time, we should have only one home page, but we may have a n number of CSS files. There is no limit. I may have a like a small or another large CSS files. So end of the day, all but the purpose of all this CSS to make dynamic. I mean, in terms of rich user interface, to make that this HTML page as a beautiful. I mean, to make better user interface. You can say that.
Mm.
So we may have like 3 or 4 CSS files, but when it comes to home page, we should have only one HTML file. So how we gonna link to each CSS file to this HTML page? Should we link that HTML file to CSS or CSS file to HTML?
CSS to HTML.
Yes, CSS to HTML. Why? Because if you apply all the CSS files to HTML, that is fine. But even if you do the reverse, the HTML file to CSS, then the CSS file should really execute in the browser. No, right? So the
Mm.
browser understands only .html file. Whatever you want to apply, whether it is like a CSS, whether it is a JavaScript, whatnot, whatever you want to apply to HTML in order to give like a better user interface. So you should link all of them to HTML page only.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
So the okay, let me make this. So the approach is not this. Okay,
Mm.
this is like this only. Right?
Mm.
So now let us understand that how we gonna link CSS file to HTML file. So for that we need to layer one more HTML element, that is link, because we
Mm.
are linking CSS file to HTML file.
Yeah.
Okay, so link is a element, and when I make link, so again remember that each and every element has few attributes, right?
Mm.
We were already discussed that. So what are the attributes which supports the link element in order to give linking that CSS file to HTML file, right?
Link
You,
CSS.
you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll okay, you want to tell?
No, I just saw it, so I thought.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So now first link, we have to give that first attribute, and important attribute is rel. What stands for rel is relation. Okay,
Mm.
so what we are going to linking here. So oh no, I think even I forget. Okay, what stands for, yeah, I mean I'm
Mm.
right, but I forget that. Yeah. Okay,
Mm.
so rel stands for relation and style sheet. The value of this attribute is style sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And next,
And then reference.
href. What stands for href?
I know it's reference, but
Hyper
I did.
reference.
Okay.
uh, hyper reference.
Mm.
Okay, so hyper reference in the sense we are giving the path of the CSS file where exactly the CSS file has been located.
Mm.
Now, if you see this folder, this is very important thing, Krishna. So you should understand the pathing. I mean, giving that path and all. Okay, this is your
Yeah.
entire folder, and you are linking your CSS file to this HTML.
Mm-hmm.
Now the CSS file is there in CSS folder. So how you need to give the link to it?
Mm, I don't know.
Okay, okay. And then you took lot of time, like I thought you were telling something. Fine. Okay. So right now, if you see that href equal to style.css, okay, let's save this file. You won't see any output here, but when you check that view page source, okay, and this style.css is asking a link to you because whenever you add a href, okay, you will
Mm-hmm.
get this kind of link. I mean this thumb, okay, that link, and just click on the style.css. What it is showing, your file couldn't be accessed.
Mm.
Your file couldn't be accessed. If you observe this folder structure, the URL of this UI session slash style.css.
Yeah.
So that means style.css is there in UI session folder. Now, if you observe the folder, do we have a style.css in the UI session folder?
No.
That is the reason it is giving error. But
Oh,
actually, where is our file? Where we have saved?
it's inside CSS. Or yeah.
Yes, it is there inside the CSS. So then the path should be CSS slash.
Oh, okay. Yeah, to identify the folder.
Yes, first it will want if you add the CSS slash, the CS slash is very important. So when you do the slash, first it will find that whether first CSS folder is there or not.
Mm.
Then whatever the file name that you are giving, then it will access to it. Now let us save this, reload it, and view page source, and click on this. Now you are accessing that in a style.css, but of course there is no content on it because it
Yeah.
is an empty document, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you now you are not getting any kind of issue that access denied or this your file is not located in this location. This kind of error messages now you are not able to see them, right?
Yeah.
You're not seeing them straight away. So even if you add something in this style.css, let us say hello. It is a syntactical error first of all.
Mm.
We cannot write like whatever we want here.
Mm.
Okay, now coming to the CSS, just reload this. Now you can see.
Mm.
You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Now this is how you have to give the path of the files. It's not just only CSS. If you remember in one of our previous session, the same way only we have accessed the images as well. We
Mm.
have added the path of img src images slash. We gave that in images slash only. Instead of that images slash, if you make that favcan.svg it straight away, do you think it is going to work?
No,
Why?
because it needs to know the location.
No, no, no. Because there is no facebook.svg file in this in this folder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is there in the folder, but not beside of this index.html. That is whenever you give a file straight away, file extension like text test.css. Let's assume that, okay. I mean,
Mm.
syntactically it is wrong. We are not supposed to give that img for, okay, let me give that, jpg.
Mm.
If you give like this, right, what system understands that? So it will first, there is no path before the text that before the file. So first it will find that index.html will look around that. Okay, so any text.jpg is there. It will find like that.
Mm.
Okay, but if you make that any folder name before it, as we have like this images slash, then it will find that images. Of course, we don't have a test.jpg. It will give an error. That is a different story. But we should write a proper path, right? For the
Mm.
HTML, for the CSS, for image, even the for JS JavaScript files also, even the for fonts also, we have to make sure to give a proper path. This is how we should give a path to it. For what for all of them, whatever we are linking to HTML, whether it is a CSS, whether it is a image, whether it is a JavaScript, whether it is a font, whatever it is.
Okay.
Clear?
Mm-hmm.
So now we have a CSS style.css here, and what I am making here, first of all, I want to apply a background color of this entire page. So if you remember in one of our previous session, we have added BG color, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, whenever we applied, I told you that why it is showing BG color as a red color. It is not just identity. I mean, highlight that. It is just this BG color property. I mean, attribute was already deprecated, so no longer supported for all the browsers. So we are not supposed to use it. So instead of that, what we can do, do we can apply the background color using with CSS
Yes.
properties.
Mm.
Okay. So now I'm not going to touch the body anymore, but still I can apply a background color for this document. Okay, using
Mm.
with CSS. So now coming to this CSS, here I am actually making like what I mean I want to apply color to what body element, right? So now I'm writing that body element here and open bracket and close bracket, this flower bracket, okay?
Mm.
And here I'm writing the property of background hyphen color as, okay. I mean, I'm very poor at these colors, but yeah, I just added that in something like blue. Okay. Now
Mm.
I'm saving this, and this is the index.html file. And let us check this.
Okay.
See, I did not apply any style attribute here,
Uh-huh.
right? But still, I have applied the background color of the HTML file because first of all, I have created a one style.css file, and the same style.css file I have applied here. I mean, the link I have given here,
Uh-huh.
and what I have written in the style.css is a very important thing. Here I am accessing the body straight away. So if you just hover on this body, what it is showing at the top? Body element.
Oh.
So
Oh,
that
yeah.
means
Okay.
what?
I was watching tutorials and I remember seeing that.
I told you to do not watch it, no? I told you to watch, I mean, I told you to practice it in websites, not the videos.
Yeah. It was
That is
just
fine.
one.
Yeah, yeah. Fine, fine. Yeah. I mean, once, just, hold for few days. Okay. Otherwise,
Mm.
it will be like an overwhelming. Even if you watch videos, I mean, I do not have any problem. But the point is, if you understand at least basics, then you can go with them.
Mm.
Okay. So as long as I explain this point, then only you can connect it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's a kind of like putting a lot of efforts on watching videos.
Mm. It
And
was just one.
tutorial is going to be
Yeah.
like in a hell. It was like kind of a trap that whenever we are into tutorials, when you watch, we will watch something else, not actually what the tutorial it is.
Yeah, I've
So it
seen.
taking us, yeah, it taking us to other videos. At the same time, end of the day, we'll definitely forget why we are watching all this. We'll give
Yeah,
that kind of impression.
I've gotten that advice before.
Ah, fine. Yeah. So when it comes to this body, okay. So if you observe this, body element is representing here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So indirectly that I am writing here that I want to apply some background color to body element. Where is this body element? It is already there in the HTML file.
Mm.
How if I write a background color to something, how it is going to apply this body? Why? Because this CSS file, I already gave a link of this, a link to this HTML file. So if you remove this CSS file now, as usual,
Yeah.
because no matter what, how many properties that you have defined in style.css, if you are not giving a no, proper link or proper path to this href.
Mm. What if there's multiple bodies? Right? If there can
That
be.
is that is the point, that is the standard. If you remember in the first, I think second or third class, okay.
Uh-huh.
So whenever you copy something and when you paste it here in the within the body, I clearly said, HTML head body, it should be unique elements, should not be
Mm.
repetitive.
Okay.
For a HTML file, it should not contain two bodies. Two body, I
Okay.
mean, opening and closing tag is fine.
Mm.
Okay, so there is no kind of duplicates here. In the
Okay.
same way, not just body, for this head and for this HTML as well, which is wrong.
Mm. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I'm going to do here, this style.css, I have added this body right in the same way. Now, in some cases, I don't, I don't have a time due to time concern or maybe due to some limitations. I'm not able to write a separate CSS file like this.
Mm.
Okay, still, I can write CSS within the HTML document,
Mm.
within the HTML document. So now if you see this, so okay, let me comment this. Do you understand what meant by comment? Code commenting?
Yeah. I don't know how to do it, but
Okay, we'll discuss tomorrow. I mean, or else today you can just look at that code commenting. It's not only for HTML. It's not just directly belongs to HTML. In everywhere, whatever the code that you are using, like Java, .NET, PHP, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, everything. Code commenting is there.
mm.
Okay, so when you make that code as when you comment that code, that means it won't execute. Whenever the
Mm.
code is executed, it will skip this step. Okay, now let's see. Let us see. Save this, and you don't see any difference here
Yeah.
because you have written CSS and that linking is everything is correct, but the code, whatever the line that you are using for linking, that is commented.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, yeah, fine. So now what I'm trying to write here is one more new element called style. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now what I'm trying to do, the same whatever I have written, I'm just copying here and I'm just pasting here. Now let me see this output.
Hmm.
Again, you got that color.
Yeah.
Okay, so now still without a CSS file, we can apply a background color to body element. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, how we can differentiate them? So, if you create a CSS file separately, like this way, style.css, and when you link that css.html, that is called external CSS.
Okay.
Okay, and
Mm.
due to time concern or maybe some limitations, Okay, or if you think there are already a lot of CSS files for this document, I don't want to create a one more. I just want to need a simple change. Let me write CSS internally. So that is called internal style sheet where you can write them. You can write them in head element between the head elements only. And if you observe this link also I have written within the head element, not in the body.
Yeah.
Make sure, okay.
Yeah, I
And the
noticed.
same way, this internal style also I have written in between the head element, and this is called internal style sheet. If you
Mm-hmm.
observe the properties in both places, like in external CSS and internal CSS, the properties and the syntax and everything is same, but the way of writing or giving that internal and external is a bit different. So when you have a external CSS file, you should start that link element and relation you have to give, and the href, the path you should give in a correct way, right?
Mm.
And when
Yeah.
you don't want to use that any external CSS, simply you can start the style element. Don't confuse with style element and style attribute.
Mm.
Now I'm commenting this. This also I'm going to comment. Now let me refresh this. There is no output as usual. Now what I'm doing here, when it comes to this body, straight away I'm writing a style attribute here. Don't confuse this style and this style. This style is element where it
Mm.
has less than and greater than. This is called
Mm.
internal style sheet. It has style starting tag and ending tag.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking about this style, this is an attribute. For all of the elements we can apply the style attribute, and the same way I'm going to give a property here, because I don't need to write any element because I'm already applying to element only straight away. So in such a case, I don't need to mention that, whether it is a body element or some other elements. In this case, I should write straight away the property name and value. Now let me save and let me check. This is called inline style. So inline style in the sense within the line itself, to element we can write a style attribute, and we can write properties. Number of properties we can write here. Let us say if I want to make it 4 or 5 properties here, still I can write it. This body allows, this style attribute allows.
Uh, is it inside the
Okay.
parentheses? Yeah.
Yeah, inside the element.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Now this is the external CSS. This is internal CSS. This is
Inline.
inline CSS.
Okay.
Now your task is, you can only do some research in the internet, which is the best to build a website or application, and what is
Oh.
the pros and cons.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, that is your job for tomorrow.
Okay.
Any questions for today?
No questions.
I hope you understand.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, chalo
If
then.
I if I had to guess, I'm guessing external is the best.
Okay, see, I'm not. I have asked like 2 questions here. Like one is that which is the best,
Mm-hmm. And
and
the pro
why?
yeah.
Why? When you say that best, you have to give that pros and cons too. That is also
Okay.
important thing, right?
Yeah.
That if you know it, no issues. You can just try to get that information from the internet,
Mm-hmm.
and try to see like how to write a CSS properties. So we just today we just only focus on few things, like background color, font family. We have we saw in font size, we saw color, we saw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just we have a lot of properties in CSS. Just look at them. how we need
Okay.
to write the properties. Okay, in the same way, if some of them, if you observe that, to apply a background color, we have like a background hyphen color, right? Without
Mm-hmm.
this color, still we can get this output. There is no difference, same output.
Mm.
Background and background hyphen color, both are same. If both are same, then what is the point of to maintaining two properties?
Mm.
Yeah, so these are all we can, you can learn one by one. Okay,
Okay.
and for you tomorrow, two tasks. One is that you have to come up with a website, at least a home page, not that
Mm-hmm.
entire thing. We cannot build probably. If we get a time, we can do that. But at least a single page, whether it is a home page or on any other page for any of the website.
Mm.
Okay, so if you come up, it's two to three options.
Okay.
Okay, max to
Mm-hmm.
max, two or three. So then we can finalize one, and at the end of the sessions, okay, all of this, all the sessions, you can build that page.
Okay.
That is the first thing that you can come up with. The second thing, like just look at this, that, how many types of CSS that we discussed today: external, internal, inline, and what is the pros and cons of them. And just look at that. If you get a time, just look at that. How CSS properties are.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
And you should practice on it, Darshana. If you have like even the book as well. So just make sure to write a property on book, so that you will get it very easily.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Shailaben.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.